welcome on board another journey of the African Diaspora channel in partnership with CRBC. On this particular podcast, Destination Cross River Policies and Investments, we will be talking investments and, of course, policies as it concerns a Cross River state and also channels through which those in the diaspora can invest and, of course, be better for it, while we as Cross Riverans are also better for it. My name is Emmanuel Bisang, and as usual, there is this wonderful duo, right, where I get to share my time with the amazing Chocolate Thunder in a I don't know how you keep these two things together, chocolate and thunder, and nothing goes bad. So this is no other person than Coco Delicious Bassi. Good morning to you. Oh, that's a good morning, or I mean, what's up with you, Coco? How are you doing today?
Doing amazing as always, King B. I don't know why you're still wondering about the chocolate thunder
No,
thing.
like chocolate and thunder.
Is it not a good thing?
The fierce and the soft.
I mean, we're talking stories, we're talking imagination, so let it just go wild.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so that brings us to what we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah.
Actually, Cross River State is blessed. People say that a lot.
Absolutely.
Nigeria at large is also a blessed country. Well, in telling our story, we find ways to do so. And anyway, let me not just tell you what is in my mind right now. I just want to introduce you first to our guest, who's going to do the honors, and then we'll build up from there.
Absolutely.
We have a wonderful gentleman in the house, and he is interesting. I say that because when you get to listen to him, you just want to, okay, let's keep going. And that's no other person than Otobong Ekpenyong. It's good to have you join us.
Thank you
Otobong
very
is
much.
a filmmaker, storyteller, if you like.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we grabbed him, the storytelling aspect. Top of the morning to you. You're looking okay.
Thank you.
I think when he walked in, our producer was like, okay, this guy looks good.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't tell him that though, because
Thank you very much, producer. Hello, everyone.
yeah, welcome. All right, so today is a very, very, important conversation. Reason because we're looking at how investors, those especially in the film industry, or those who are willing to play that game in the film industry, can actually take advantage of what Cross River State has. You know, so before to kick this off, what do you think makes Cross River State very unique in terms of its heritage, its culture, and all sorts when it comes to filmmaking? And why should investors even look in this direction?
Thank you very much. Cross River State is unique in very many ways. I mean, first of all, the landscape, right? We're talking about the greenery. You're talking about the colonial architecture. From a scenic point of view, it's very beautiful, even to the ordinary eyes. So if we're talking storytelling for screen, you can imagine when you now add the beauty of lenses and the technology of telling stories for screen, it's a wonderful space to be at. So that from the physical point of view, and then the non-physical, which is the very space and the culture it holds, the meaning to everything. You are experiencing a people who are used to the storytelling tradition, right? That people that are used to performative storytelling. You understand the culture, everything just makes Cross River State very unique for storytelling for screen. And even the stories that the space holds.
Okay.
You know,
what do you mean exactly?
For example, we know that Calabar was one of the first places that the whites landed in when they came to this part of the world. That in itself is a pot of stories, if you will. You understand? There's a lot that comes from there. And then we have like the intersection between colonialism and our traditional, ways of doing things. That in itself is another, potpourri that you can, and I can go on and on.
Exactly.
So Cross River State is a very unique space actually for storytelling, visually, non-visually, and otherwise.
Okay. All right. So you talked about Calabar precisely being the place where the white people landed, and they came with a lot of stuff. You know, when I remember stories where my parents told and teachers in school, you remember that, okay, we never saw ourselves in a glass mirror. Our people never knew about whiskey. And there were so many things they brought that wowed us. But you see, our culture, our history still holds it so deeply, nothing actually interferes with it. Why is our history that significant in telling our story?
I mean, that can be said not only of Calabar and Cross River State, but in Africa entirely.
In Africa, yes.
And I don't know about the fact that it didn't change, because I would want to differ. I mean, it did something to us.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I think it's just the fact that our history is tied to our identity. And you can't change who we are. You can try to influence it, but you can't change it. Okay. I mean, if we get in Bakara, like we like to say, that means the Efik man is like the white man in many ways because of these influences I'm talking about. But an Efik man is still an Efik man. Okay. I mean, you know, we're wearing the shirt, but with their shirt is our handkerchief is tied. I mean,
somewhere.
You get what I'm saying? So we are who we are. We will bring part of what influences us and add to us to kind of like, you know, improve our identity. But the Eurocentric ideas can never shift that. It can try, but it will never shift who we are. And that, if you ask me, is part of why it's why our storytelling is significant. Because stories is about conflict, you know, and this in itself presents a conflict that you can storytell around.
Okay,
you know that you know, you came with yours and tried to shift us, but we're still who we are.
Yeah,
I mean, just to speak a little bit to that, the governance. It would interest you to know that Ekpe was a form of government.
Was government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just let's leave it there and think about the stories that can bring with what we call democracy today.
Okay.
So now about stories now, right? Let's go a little bit deeper into the history. Let's be a little bit more specific. So if there were an investor right now looking at the array of stories, there's Marie Slessor, there is slave ships, there's all sorts of stories, even how the leadership, King Honesty at one time and all that. Can you pick a story that could just be that in your opinion would be a great hit that the world would love to hear? And maybe there's an investor who's watching right now from the diaspora. Which would you pick and how would you approach it?
That's a lot, but let's just make this a social experiment.
All right, cool. Let's go.
How does this sound to you? The Legend of the Hunter.
The Legend of the Hunter. Sounds quite catchy.
Okay, let's explore it a little bit. Did you ever hear of Ekpenyong Atautu?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
No, he
Okay.
did not.
How did you know I did not?
Obvious.
So tell me what you know about Ekpenyong Atautu.
Okay, he was a very well-known, respected hunter, right? And I think he had mystical powers, or he got to see things when he got into the forest. I think I can remember something.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
It would interest you to know that Ekpenyong Atautu was a policeman. Okay, is this working?
But he had mystical thing.
Yeah, he had some powers. But I think I'm making my point already.
Okay.
So imagine a story told about, and this is an actual man that lived here. His family, if you're listening to me, is actually in Calabar.
A real family, yeah.
He's a real person, you know, that lived here. I think he rose up in the police ranks up to the point where he could maybe have a license to kill. And this is part of why it's a legend, because I remember growing up, and the stories, and this is significant. If there's an investor listening to me, let's talk about this, because this story is good not only in long form, you know, drama, but it can also work for documentary form.
Yes, yes.
Because
why so?
Because I mean, put it out there and ask people what they know about the Ekpenyong Atautu. And imagine watching a documentary where somebody's recounting what they know about Ekpenyong Atautu. For example, the stories we used to tell in dormitory back then in Hope Waddle was about this police officer. I don't even know. It's still a myth to me. I don't know which of them is true, but that had a license to kill.
Yeah.
And so criminals in Calabar South and other part of the Calabar I mean, he was a dread, because he will come and tell you, I know you're going to go and steal somewhere. Don't do it, because if you come, I will come and get you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, criminals, who they are, they will go, and then he will show up and kill you. So think about it. That's a story, a real lived experience. And I'm saying make it a social experiment. Ask people what they know about Ekpenyong Otobong and imagine the many versions.
So what, in your opinion, makes this... sometimes people will think it's our local story with the world connect to it.
So, fantastic. So, why was James Bond such a global story?
Yeah.
007. Ekpenyong Otobong, in my mind, was our own local 007.
Wow. I see what you mean now.
So,
Yeah.
yes. So, and I can go on. This is one of many. So, when I tell you that Calabar, look, and for investors listening to me, Calabar and Cross River State is not just it's not just a landscape for location. It's not just location. It's actually a space that hosts real stories.
There's still the buildings are still
I'm telling
there.
you that if you put the phone call, you will get at least 10 versions of Ekpenyong Otobong. That's 10 episodes of a documentary that you can move into a docudrama. Move from the real recounted story of a person, and then you reenact the parts. I'm sure you're getting it already.
Yeah.
And this can run, because I'm asking you, go to documentary channels. Why is there no story? It's not that there are no stories.
But it's not out there.
It's not told.
Yeah.
You understand? And this should be something that investors and even government
Okay.
should try it, because these are the things that immortalize, you understand, the space and the stories and the cultures that we hold. So I can go on and on.
That actually takes me to Nollywood,
Okay.
Over time, we use that platform, our film industry in Nigeria, to tell certain kinds of stories. Even though sometimes some people say, it's the only juju that happens in Nigeria. What's going on with all the juju and all the native doctors and stuff? But besides that, we can, it resonates with us because we know, we feel it, we understand it. But the film industry in Nigeria has grown. I mean, it has evolved. How, can diasporans invest? What is the opportunity in our film making industry where investors can actually leverage in on?
Leverage with regards to, so there are two ways you can look at this.
Okay.
You can look at it, if you're saying investors, and I mean, so I straddle both worlds, the documentary world and the commercial film world. So for documentaries, it's impact producing.
Okay.
So the impact and the profit for a documentary may not necessarily be dollars and cents. It may be impact.
Okay.
You understand? So most documentaries are made for the impact it's going to make. Like if Nat Geo conservation, entity commissions a film, it's for to protect an endangered species.
Yeah.
That's the impact there. They're not looking for naira and couple. You understand? So that's the sense that I mean. It depends on who's investing.
Yeah.
But if it's for money,
okay,
then I think the space, for money, and I say this in many ways, the real issue is not necessarily the production, is the ecosystem and the structures and the policing around monetizing and making money from it.
Okay.
And that's a conversation that we can have after this, because it's very layered.
Okay.
But there's an opportunity, I can tell you, for that. We just need to be prepared for it and to think long term. Yeah. To think it's not, in film, you have to be able to put that money out for at least 2 years, 24 months.
Oh.
Okay. See, these are the things.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's a conversation that we have, but the space is there. And I always advise, start small.
Okay.
Start small. Test. I joke about it, but don't attempt calculus if you haven't conquered BODMAS.
Okay.
Start small, build the ecosystem, train the talent, and then see where because I mean, invest here, see what works and what doesn't work, and recalibrate, replan, and then go ahead. So the opportunity is there. The stories is not the problem. There are plethora of stories, the myriad stories that we can tell. You understand? And the talents are there. Prospective, growing and experienced.
Yeah.
You understand? What we need to do is commission a project. Let's stop paying lip service.
Okay.
Bring that first $10 million on air. Let's start from there, and let's test it out for impact and for real ROI returns in money.
Yeah.
And then we take it from there. That's what I'll advise, because we'll keep talking, paying lip service to this and dreaming and never getting anything done.
Okay, let's see what could be those challenges now. Because of course, Cross River has a great story, but many a times we tend to see more of like Lagos. We tend to see Abuja come into the picture. We see those states in recent time, beginning to make their way into the Nollywood industry, telling their own stories. But looking at Cross River now, what would you say may have been over time the challenge that has somewhat not brought in the investors as much as what we have to offer? Because we have so much to offer, right? So what has been that challenge which has somewhat made that door a little bit slim? And how do we then solve it so that investors in diaspora, wherever they are, can actually jump in and make good of what we have?
So fortunately, I can say these challenges are not unique to Cross River and Calabar.
Okay.
And it's uncertainty. We're uncertain about the policy. Policies that are friendly to film production and filmmaking, film business. Are there location incentives? Are there tax incentives? You understand? Are there grants? Do you understand? Is there an ecosystem? If I'm looking for a producer that can handle a 100 million naira project, can I find him in the space? And if I can't find that person in the space, if I bring another producer from another place, will the producers have the the teamwork and the attitude to work with the person and learn and then grow to a point where they can carry that? There's a lot. So it's uncertainty.
Okay.
Uncertainty is one word that I can cover everything. So if we can get around, looking at the specifics of that, and then the security. The security, if we're talking about monetization, we have to be thinking long form. So you have to be able to, if you want to go to streaming platforms, thank God today we have limited series of like maybe 4 to 5 episodes, but you have to be able to go into a space and spend at least 3 to 6 months, depending on the weight of the project, you understand? And you need security. So do we have the security infrastructure? Do you understand? Do we have the spaces, the hotels that are budget friendly for film productions? Those are the things, and I can go on and on. It's uncertainty, and like I said earlier, the way to mitigate that is to start with pilot projects and test the uncertainty, and then prove credibility, and then scale up.
Okay, so very importantly, right? Many times investors always touch on security. And like you just mentioned, security is very critical in this whole equation. What can you say to security and the contents Cross River State for that person who wants to come and say, okay, let's bring a team from America, from wherever. Let's go back home and let's shoot this film, right? What can you say about the security of Cross River State, and also the available hotels and stuff like that, hospitality?
I mean, I'm not a hospitality expert, but if I'm bringing a crew of, when I shot If Only, and that was a short film, 15 minutes. When I shot I made Mo in 2018, and I shot it at Adiabo. I had a crew of, say, 30 something. If I wanted to put 35 members of crew in a hotel for a week, do I have one location that can carry 35 people? And I will be able to make a budget that you understand that will be friendly. Those are the things I'm talking about. You understand? And if a film crew will not go to Transcorp, do you understand? Except maybe do you understand what I mean? So we need small scale. Those are the things I'm talking about. So we need to, and these are stuff that we can talk about specifically. But when it comes to security, don't put me on the spot, but come on, it remains to be told. If I bring a Davido Yellow, will the security not kill my film budget? Let's not even go far. If I bring a RMD, I'll be thinking of the money because it's an invest. Do you understand what I mean? So the security infrastructure has to be in place. And, when you're talking security budget for a government official or a celebrity, it's different from, it's money from investors that you're going to pay back. Do you understand? So you want to be able to keep the security bill as low as possible. So there has to already be a security infrastructure that is friendly enough, budget-wise, for you to plug into. The question is does it exist? And if it doesn't exist, are we ready to build it from ground up? Those are the questions.
All right.
Anyway, you've actually shot a movie right here in the city of Calabar.
Yes, I have. Several.
Okay, good. All in the city of Calabar.
Not all, but I've done like 2 or 3.
Okay. Now speak to the fact that we have evolved, in terms of, in every ramification, if you might dare to say, in terms of security, in terms of our exposure, we have evolved. You would agree with me. Now, you have shot movies in Calabar. What do you think about our location? How is it, is it appealing? Do we have the locations that can shoot a good movie and can handle, and it's worth viewing from the outside, and something that can actually draw the interest of, the diaspora to say, okay, we have a good location in this places, we can do this?
Oh, absolutely. We have, I think the advantage that Calabar and Cross River has is unfair to other places to be. I have my bias, but it's okay. the greenery, the tropical, the forest, the border culture. If you go close to Ecom and Cameroon, even the space, like the humans you will find and the way they behave. I spoke earlier about the colonial architecture. You can still see old, like, buildings that we may maybe only be able to see in Ibadan, are the kind of places you see in Calabar.
Yeah.
And in 10-15 minutes away from the urban. That's gold for production, because you don't want to travel one day to the next location. Do you understand? Okay. So the location is, I'm tired of seeing other places. I don't want to mention names on screen. And I tell my producer friends all the time, come to Calabar. If you go to Obudu, they say there's a lot. The scenery is beautiful, and there are other places. The scenery is, I said, it's an unfair advantage actually. So if it comes to that, and then add that to film technology today, the beauty of lenses, and today we shoot 12K. So what are you talking about? And then beyond that, and this is the part that breaks my heart when I talk about it, the facility in Tinapa. Do you know we have actual sound stages there? That you can actually take the space up and create artificial scenery. I don't want to talk about Tinapa because it breaks my heart.
No, I think we should, because it's a real thing. So that's even an opportunity for investment for someone who's in diaspora. So, for example, you hear about Tyler Perry Studios, and he has this, production houses in a certain location, and Tinapa gives us more or less that kind of a setup. Right, we know that at one time, Half of a Yellow Sun, we hear that some of his scenes were shot in the Tinapa studio. Right, we also know that Ebony Life at one time was doing his premiere shoots there when it kicked off.
I know,
for a number of episodes, right? So let's do Tinapa as an opportunity for investment for someone in the diaspora. What can it hold if done right?
If done right, it can do a lot. I stand corrected, but if Tinapa is done properly, I think the only other space around here, and I'm talking Africa, that can match what we have is in South Africa.
Okay.
So that means there's a lot of room for
Listen, the facilities there, just needs to be done up. I'm sure there are at least 2 sound spaces in Tinapa currently.
Wow.
So, you move in for sound people, for production people that know what I'm talking about. You go down, you clap, and the noise floor is 0 decibel.
0.
Wow.
Yes.
In the whole
it exists,
massive
sir.
space.
It exists. It just needs to be done up. Just move in there, put the lights and get everything. It's there. And if you get it done, that it even becomes revenue for people. I don't want to talk about Tinapa because I think we should start small. Commission, let's put our money where our mouth is. Commission small short form projects, scale up, and then when the potential is there, maybe government or other investors can come up.
Because you know why I'm touching on this Tinapa story is because I know that currently the government of Cross River State is opening up doors And one of those doors is willing to open up if it finds a worthy partner is TINAPA. I've had conversations one time with the MD of TINAPA, Mr. Francis, where he speaks about, look, we're open, but can we just get the right people? So we just might never know who's listening.
Yeah. So I don't want to talk about TINAPA, but it's a layered conversation, and one of it is finding the right people. I know of 2 people, they are alive and willing, that have brought proposals, actual proposals of people that have done this elsewhere in the world. So when we're ready for TINAPA, and I mean ready not just with money, but with the right heart and attitude, and I don't want to talk about TINAPA.
Okay.
I do hope that one day you'll get to talk about TINAPA.
No, but if we're ready, we can get like stakeholders and people and thought leaders and can sit down and bring up. And I'm saying it's not like these solutions have not been preferred before.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact that they have, but it's a layered conversation.
Okay.
And it's a layered, and I don't think any investor has the money and the time to put on that uncertainty that I spoke about earlier, because this, right, is one of the uncertainties I spoke to earlier. Nobody wants to put money on an uncertainty. So let's leave that for now.
I choose to believe that there are those right pathways. If it works right, other things can happen.
Yes, absolutely. I'm optimistic, but
talent in Cross River State, because of course, when you come down, you don't expect to bring your entire cast from somewhere else, right? There has to be a talent pool of some sort. What is the room for our investors when it comes to setting up institutions, even our institution, maybe partnering with our own institutions, and also the talent pool that we have here in Cross River State? So somebody wants to invest in the talent pool in an academy of some, whatever it is, I don't know. What do you see as a possibility?
For actors, for crew, the possibility is endless. But I'm saying you don't need to build an academy. You can partner with the University of Calava's Department of Theatre Arts. Mm-hmm. There's the Actors Guild, that they have a Calabar branch. Why do we always like to reinvent the wheel? Why don't you work with structures that are already there? You can start with workshops, weekend workshops, and take specific acts. And there are people in the space that can actually train. You understand? So some of the solutions are not that grand. You can start with people, knowledge bearers in this space, you understand, and thought leaders in the space, and work your ground up. If it's crew, there are people here. I joke around it that, and Nigerians, we are very smart people. Maybe I will get in trouble, but I can count like maybe just 2 cinematographers in the entire space. And I mean cinematographers, people that can measure light and capture image with it. I know 2 in the space. I mean, there are videographers, there are cameramen around. It's fine. Right? Cinematography, the measurement of light. That's what it means. Right? So, but in the last 2 years, have you had, and I don't know if it's okay to mention the gentleman's name here, but he exists, he lectures now in University of Calabar. How many people would put money, maybe I could mention his name, he may be watching this, Charles Bonja. That's a cinematographer. He shot 2 of my films. Gentleman can measure light properly. How many people, there are people, workshops, well, sponsor him, let him train cinematographers in this space. You see what I'm talking about?
Okay, so let's look at
so, and that's a place to make money.
Yeah, that's another point.
You can put money in the training. You understand, and then we can scale up from there, and we can go on. And it's not just crew; it's also acting. Do I need to mention the actors in the space? Yeah,
there are quite a lot,
and they can teach.
Quite a lot of them.
There's an actual university in this space that has a department of theatre arts. So why do we need to reinvent the wheel? Create a workshop or a seminar. Go and get the lecturers there. Get actual actors that have actually done things in this space. FIOR is my friend. He's big time Nollywood. He's done international stuff. You think if I will not come down and want to give back to his people? So the opportunities are there. We just need to have the will and the willingness to put money where our intentions are, if we truly have these intentions.
Okay, so let's talk about documentaries in
My world.
in yes, exactly your world. Well,
Yeah.
in terms of content, how much do you think we in Cross River have to offer in documentary series?
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh
see
my
you love
goodness.
documentaries so much.
I mean, I'm trained for it, but
Okay.
endless, especially for a state-owned TV. Listen, when you tune in the food channels like the major, cable
Yeah.
stations, when was the last time you saw any food from around here?
No.
Is it like Italy or France or?
They're all flowers and sugar. I'd
ever
like to see some leaf.
I don't ever see any
I'd like to see
oil,
some leaf. Exactly.
any palm oil.
So, have you ever thought about the fact that Idi Kankong, a documentary about it, the many various Ekbangs, Ayan Ekbang, Ekbang Kokwa, you know what I'm talking about? So, there's a lot that we can do with documentaries. And let me tell you something. I thought about it, and maybe an investor listening to me, we've hosted boat regattas for at least 2 years now, and I've been looking for an opportunity to film it. That's a global story, right?
Yeah.
And we waste it. We have people competing for Bubabum, we call it the boat regatta. That's a documentary. Follow the competitors and storytelling around the cultural significance. There's the Ekbe. I'm actually making a documentary around that.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, but not the mystical parts. I mean, like the spectacular parts of it, like the catwalk of the masquerade. Those are global stories. I mean, the deep parts are important, but
Yeah.
the people out there want to see. Do you actually know that that's a catwalk right there that the masquerade is doing?
Yeah. And does the pose sometimes.
And have you thought about the storytelling of the people serenading the masquerade? Do you listen to what they say? Do you listen to the songs that the drummers do you listen to the lyrics of the songs? Do I go on?
Please do go.
So there's a lot that we can do with documentaries days and act a lot. There's a lot that we
Do you
can
think we have really touched on, all of these opportunities?
I know that we haven't. I know that we haven't. And there are many ideas that we can. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. There's almost everywhere you go, there's a story
Waiting to be told.
waiting to be told.
Yeah.
So what do you think are limitations in telling these deep stories that the diaspora wants to hear and wants to be a part of?
Willingness. I've said it.
Really?
I'm pitching stories right now, and I can make documentaries. I can bring them money.
Okay.
And I'm saying for a state-owned station like CRBC, why are we not talking about the waterfalls? Why is there no documentary about Ogbokum? Why is there no documentary about the Calabar Carnival that we've done 20 years? Please show me one. Please don't let me go further than that. But I'm sure you get the point of what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
I do get the point.
So it's willingness. Let's put the money where our mouth is. You understand? Let's put the money. And some of the things that we are struggling to show that is being done, even in Cross River State right now, you just need a 5-minute documentary that can, instead of trying to show some people what Prince Utu has done, just make a documentary. That's all it takes. You don't have to be preaching. Just put it on YouTube, sir. Put it on CRBC, and we will see.
The world will see.
I'm telling you. So there's a lot that we can do around it. There's a lot of potential.
Very, very often, the government is quite focused on entrepreneurship. Okay, so let's begin to wrap this up now. Now, we touched on a number of things, the possibilities, documentaries, the movies, and all different from the storytelling. There is a glue that brings these things together, right? There's that bridge between the policies in the government and also where they meet with the investors who are interested in these opportunities. What do you think can be done a lot to make this relationship a lot better, probably by the government of Cross River State?
Yes, there are a few things that I think we can do. First, we should work around getting film permits that are friendly to the industry. You understand? if we can policy around film permits that will be issued by the government, that would help. Also, tax incentives, very important. This is a global practice around filmmaking, that if you watch films and you see the credits, you will see that certain states in America actually are part of the production, and by giving tax permits, because that if you move in and do your production in, say, Atlanta, the trickle down of that money is going to get into the economy. Hotels, people are going to be hired, actors are going to be hired, equipment are going to be rented, hotels are going to, so the trickle down effect, will be there if, the government offers, tax permits. So first, film permits, that's location film permits, and then tax incentives. And then you spoke around, training hubs. Like I'm saying, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a university that has a theater arts department, that has a media studies department. You can plug into the human resource that is already in this space instead of having to reinvent the wheel. You understand? And work with that to create, talent around the space. And also infrastructural support. Like we're talking about TINAPA, the government can come in with that and the power.
Okay.
Infrastructural support in that regard. And then, yes, I think these are some of the things that the government can lean in and that can really, really help, prepare the space so that, the aspirants can come in and invest.
Okay. So, my final submission, of course, there's someone who's watching right now and he's made up his mind that, look, I think, let me give this guy a shot. Or maybe he's still puzzling that conclusion in his mind. What's your word to that investor who is looking at us as Cross River State as a place for the next investment and, of course, a place to create the next blockbuster movie to the world?
I like the sound of that. So what I would say to that investor would be the beautiful, unique thing about Calabar, Cross River State is that here, stories don't have to be invented. The space already holds the story. I'm sure from our conversation, you can see that the space already holds the story. The stories just need to be hosted. And that's the opportunity we are inviting you to plug into. So come in, host the story. You understand? We already have a people that are ready to participate in many ways. You understand? And God willing, and the government will bring in the support that we've recommended, and then we can take it from there. So the future can be rewritten with your money. So let's make it happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, you heard from the man himself, a man who has done his part and is still willing to do so, especially when it comes to documentaries here in Cross River and, of course, the world beyond. Well, it's been a great time so far, so good, discussing policies and investment opportunities on this particular podcast, the Destination Cross River Policies and Investment Podcast. Well, of course, this is hosted by the African Diaspora Channel in partnership with CRBC. Listen, we will always meet again, of course, for sure. But for now, my name is Emmanuel Bisang. Some call me the bouquet man with a fucking Bakara kind of swagger. That's okay. And of course, I did it alongside the beautiful, the amazing Coco Delicious Basilica. I love to call her. I also call her the Chocolate Thunder. So I'll see you again. Take care.